Welcome to the October edition of Campus Connections. My name is Luis Pedraja, president of the college, and this is our second edition of Haunted Happenings. Is Quinsigamon Community College haunted? Do ghosts roam our halls along with the students? Joining me today is Betsy True, who works at the library. And can you give us your title and how long you've been here?
I'm a library assistant at the Alden Library, and I've been here since January of 2011.
And you know where the bodies are buried, literally.
I think.
So I believe that there was a cemetery here on campus for a while.
The cemetery was near the athletic field, and if you're going down the road past the athletic center, it's up on a hill on the right side. In the beginning, the Assumptionists in 1904 lived on Vale Street. There were two houses, one at 21 and one at 27. And then in 1906, they wanted to continue to grow the school, so they bought what is now QCC. And so the cemetery became a place for the Assumptionist priests and brothers to be buried. The first burial was in 1919, and then when the state bought the land in 1971, the cemetery was moved, and it was moved to St. Anne Cemetery in Sturbridge.
Do you know anything about if there were any victims of the 1953 tornadoes buried, or?
There was one priest who died in the tornado, and he is buried
Oh.
with the other priests.
How many people were buried there that you know of?
I have a list of 22 of the brothers and priests who lived and worked here at Assumption Prep and Assumption College, who were then interred in Sturbridge. We have an aerial map from 1938 and a topographical survey from 1963, but I went to the Worcester Historical Museum, I talked to someone at the Worcester Public Library, I looked through newspaper clippings, I went out to the cemetery in Sturbridge, but there's no mention on any of the flat markers that these graves were moved from Worcester to Sturbridge.
So I'm surprised that there's so little information about the cemetery. Why do you think it's such a mystery?
The documentation is missing, but there are people still who remember the cemetery.
So I'm curious, what got you started researching cemeteries?
I love history, and thinking back in the early 2000s, I went to a conference on the Association of Gravestone Studies, and there are people all over the world who study cemeteries because of their art, their folk art and the gravestones, and also their historical significance to an area. If you go to any town, and especially old New England towns, you'll see the church and you'll see the graveyard, and that tells you so much about the founders of the town or city you're in, but also the people. One rainy day I walked all around campus, and I thought there has to be something marking the cemetery. And I walked up the hill near the 5 trees, and on the ground are 2 stones, and they don't have any writing on them, but we think maybe that was a marker of where the cemetery was.
Wonder if any bodies were left behind.
Who knows?
So we have heard that there's a cemetery located near the baseball field, and then the athletic center, which is nearby, has experiences some eerie occurrences. Are they connected?
I currently work at the Home Plate Food Pantry on campus, but when I did work at the athletic center as a supervisor, a lot of strange things would be happening there. There was one time I used to work during the morning time. I come in the morning and I had to go through everything before everybody was there. So all the lights would be off. And when I sat walking in there all by myself, because this is before public safety was there, I would have to check everything, make sure everything's okay. We have the laundry room area, and then there was another door there with a padlock on it. It was like rattling, and I'm like, why is that rattling? So I let Lisa know that the door was like shaking a lot. So I said, I think maybe there's a window open there. or something. Maybe it needs to be closed, and she's like, there's no window in there. And I'm like, no. Like, it was really spooky.
I'd have to say I heard lots of stories myself from everybody. I even got calls at home when I had people working and I wasn't there. You know, it's an older building, old pipes, old... the noises, you just have to keep telling yourself that it's old. But I'd have to run around the building and lock everything up, make sure all the people are out of the building by myself. And I would send everybody home, and it was my job to go through the entire building, upstairs, downstairs, make sure there's nobody left, lock all the doors. Downstairs, we have locker rooms. It's all cement, there's no windows, you're by yourself. I remember having to like shut the lights off in the beginning of the locker room, and then I would run as fast as I could through the other end of the locker room to get out. It would be dark.
Sometimes a locker would just shut. Like, you know how they have the lockers in there, the wired lockers? Like, one of them would go there, and there's no one else there but me at this time, early in the morning. So I would go back there, and there's nobody there at all. And you have to walk through the men's bathroom and the women's bathroom. So when I went to check, every time there's a mirror, it gives you that little eerie feeling when you walk by, like there's someone in the mirror. It was really creepy. And they used to have a payphone there. Well, they probably still have the payphone there. And the payphone, like before shift and after shift, and sometimes during the shift, the phone would ring. And you answer the phone, and there's nobody there, and they just sit there all silence. And people used to get freaked out because the staff would pick it up and say, hello, hello, but there was nobody there at all. But the most freaky story there was we were working on the shift one time, and I had Miguel as one of the staff, the gym attendant, Monique as a gym attendant, and me. We were all working, and I thought they were like messing around because they were trying to find a phone, because I'm like, what are you doing? They're trying to find the phone. So I'm like, okay. And Monique, she's telling me, no, really, he took my phone. And I'm like, well, you guys need to get back the phone, you know, whatever. And he's like, I did not take her phone. So we're looking around for a phone, and she's up on the top part of the gym looking for her phone. So I went downstairs with Miguel. And we're walking around, we're looking for a phone, and we walked down the hallway, and there was nothing there at all, because I was really there. And then we turned around, and all you heard was a plop. We both turned around, and the cell phone was right there. It was freaky. This was the most freaky part we've seen. And Miguel turned around, and he's like, I didn't touch that cell phone. We were both there, and it appeared there. So that kind of really freaked us all out. And we still talk about it till this day, like how that cell phone plopped right there out of nowhere. So I recently heard that there was a cemetery up in this area, in the baseball field area. So that could explain all, right?
So we've heard of a cemetery located here on campus. We've heard stories of unusual occurrences. Do ghosts roam the halls of QCC? Are there spirits wandering and mixing among us? It's up to you to decide.